All right. Next up, we're continuing on our theme of these green metals that are going to be driving this new super cycle that we're all so looking forward to, that it feels like we're just in the early innings of. Clean Air Metals is our next investor opportunity that we're going to highlight. Clean Air Metals is a platinum and palladium company. It has its Thunder Bay North project, which is, you guessed it, near Thunder Bay. We are going to be speaking today with Jim Gallagher. Now, Jim is president and CEO. Sorry, I've just lost my notes for a second here, and I want to read Jim's bio to you all, because Jim is a professional mining engineer. He has over 35 years of experience in mine operations, projects, and executive management. He was most recently CEO of North American Palladium, where he led an operational turnaround, which culminated in the sale of the company to Impala Platinum of South Africa late in 2019. Previously, Jim was global director of mining for Hatch, leading a large mine design and EPCM team on numerous projects around the world. He's also spent over 20 years with Falconbridge and a number of engineering, project, and operational management roles. Jim's been a board member of Hart Gold, Continental Gold, and the Ontario Mining Association. Jim, it's great to have you on the Global Mining Symposium. We love it when someone with your wealth of experience in the industry joins us and can share with our audience what you're thinking and what you're up to with Clean Air Metals. How are you doing today?
Very good, and thanks very much for having me. I hope I'm up on screen and screen sharing and everything's working well.
It looks like you are right on top of it. Look at Jim. Just right out of the gate, the presentation's up. We can see it. We can see you. So let me turn it over to you and tell us all about what Clean Air Metals is up to.
Great. Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to tell you about the Thunder Bay North project, which is the primary project for Clean Air Metals, a company that's formed within the last 15, 16 months. It's a story of the consolidation of two previous projects, and we'll go through that. We definitely will be making some forward-looking statements. I am, in fact, the executive chairman, not the CEO. I am a mining engineer, and I was really attracted to this after the sale of North American Palladium, which, as you'll see, is just up the highway from this project, by the grade profile and by the metal profile of this deposit. My normal partner in crime is Abraham Drost. Abraham is a geo. He is the CEO. He's also a Thunder Bay resident, so he finally has a project in his backyard. And Abraham is a guy that's spent a lot of time in the junior space and a few M&A deals. So why should you be interested in the Thunder Bay North project and Clean Air Metals? There's three key elements here of great potential. First one is the current lake deposit, which we have declared a resource. We published a resource that includes current lake and some of Escape Lake, and we published that in January. There was a historic resource here. It goes back 10 years. Panoramic Resources of Australia previously drilled this property, 645 drill holes in the mineralization. We already have 1.3 million ounces of palladium equivalent in that initial resource. In the indicated category, as you can see, another 400,000 of inferred. There is a second deposit 2.5 kilometers away, originally discovered by Rio Tinto, the Escape deposit, over 500,000 ounces in the indicated category, and we will be working on Escape and are drilling on it currently. And then there is significant Greensfield exploration potential, which is really surrounding these two conduits and the potential for significant massive sulfide. So I'm going to talk my way through all three of those opportunities. We have a very experienced management team. We are well financed. Again, we're going to be drilling this year. We're going to be testing for those massive sulfides, and I'm going to talk about why Norilsk is a bit of a case sample for us. We are doing some engineering work, metallurgy and mining, and we're very proud of our ESG leadership. And point number 5 on this slide, we have entered into a relationship with the 3 key First Nations in the Thunder Bay area that we're obligated to, and we're on their traditional territories. And that's in the form of equity ownership. They are holders of warrants in the company, which will make them equity owners at some point in the future. Where are we? North of Thunder Bay, literally 35-minute drive up the highway, about 60 kilometers south of my old stomping grounds at the Lac des Îles mine, which was North American Palladium, now Impala Platinum of South Africa. And you can see this whole Lake Superior Basin, Tamarack and Talon Metals, Generation Mining, Lundin Mining to the south. One of the best areas in the world right now, jurisdictionally and otherwise, to look for PGMs. In a close-up view, again, Thunder Bay to the south, you can see our claims and the infrastructure here. We're on Highway 527. It cuts through the corners. That's a provincial highway paved. We've got a large transmission line on the other part of our claims. So we're very close and have a lot of infrastructure close by. This is the suite of metals. So relative potential contribution in situ. And you can see that this is the suite of metals. We have palladium, rhodium, platinum, which are catalytic converter elements, record prices. Platinum is a big part of the hydrogen economy. Copper and nickel, I don't think we need to say more about the whole battery technology. Nice sweetener with cobalt, gold, and silver. And here's the relative value. So these metals have all been improving. The basket price, a year ago, we were $154 US per ton, again, in situ. Today, we sit at 254. So it's really reflecting the movement in this basket of prices. I will not declare this project as net carbon neutral at this point, net zero, but we are on a full green power mix. We will take advantage of that in the mine design. Hydroelectricity, this is from the drill site actually. So we have obviously wind power and solar power in the grid. Here's the two conduits, 35 minutes north of Thunder Bay, lots of drill holes. A close-up view is what these conduits look like. Close to surface, flat dipping, very unique structures. And the key place that these are found is Norilsk, and we'll make those comparisons. Again, a view of the way the ore bodies, as they have been defined in the resource, exist. I'll spend a minute on this slide. This is a grain mapping. You can see the color. This is the block model, in fact. The yellow is very mineable, in our opinion, and the reds and the fuchsia color are high grade, very close to surface, 60 to 70 meters. We have 4 gram palladium equivalent and better. So that's well over $400 a ton rock today. Dips at a reasonable grade. We're taking a high grade selective underground mining approach to this and have eliminated the risks of some of the subcropping under the lake. 2.5 kilometers away is the Escape Lake deposit. We are drilling on this. We aren't yet doing mining studies because we're going to fill in the gray as we go. It needs more drill density. So we'll probably spend the next 2 years drilling on this. This is the comparison to the Talnak field in Norilsk. And the importance here is the existence of massive sulfides. And we do have massive sulfides in this system. It physically looks like a 10-kilometer strike on a fault system with an offshoot conduit. We have 2 of those, as you can see on the left side, compared to Talnak on the right side. Massive sulfides, this was the cover shot. Incredible value here. Small intersection. We drilled this one off literally 6 weeks ago and published it. And aside from the fact this massive sulfide, it's got this loopy texture, as the geologists call it, which is very similar to what you see at Norilsk. So it's a case sample for us on exploration. And this is what has come out of this greenfields exploration. These are magnetotelluric transects, all of these horizontal plates you see intersecting the 2 conduits. And as you can see from target A to target F, outside of the conduit, which is where Norilsk finds the bulk of their massive sulfides, we have several significant low conduct or high conductivity, low resistivity intersections. Almost certainly massive sulfides. The question is how big? Could be small, could be large. And that's a big bulk of what we will be doing this year. So with that, we're well financed. And sorry, just trying to turn off a timer here. and ready to go and keep drilling for the rest of the year. And with that, I'll take a few questions.
Fantastic, Jim. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, it's great to see you're just continuing to roll after the sale of North American Palladium. So,
well, thank you.
Some really proven track record there with your team, and nice to see Abraham Drost. I remember meeting Abraham back when he first came over with, I think you and Downey actually recruited him out of the Canadian, because he was part of the Canadian Geological.
Well, and by interest, Ewan is a member of our board as well.
Excellent. Well, Ewan's a great guy and has an amazing track record as well. So really good team over there. Now you kind of touched upon it, but maybe drill down a little bit more. If you're ranking them, what are your top priorities for the next year? What are you guys really going to push down on?
Well, we believe there's significant value, even though there's 10 years of history here on this project. We have a different view and a different model, and so far it's proven successful. So the drill bit is where we're going to focus this year. We have 3 drills. We're going to drill Escape Lake and definitely look for those massive sulfide targets. And of course, success dependent, we will change those priorities as we go forward. We are doing some technical studies in the background, but creating value at the drill bit is the song we're going to sing this year.
Excellent. Well, that's what we like to hear at the Northern Miner. You know, we've been covering drilling results for over 100 years now, so that's how real value is made in this sector. What about financing? How much money do you have in the kitty? Are you looking at another round of financing?
We're just under 14 million. 11 million of that is flow through, so we're well financed to drill and carry on operations really through into 2022. Depending on market conditions, share price, certainly financing before the end of the year is something that we'll be looking at, but we're well set up at this point in time.
And Jim, maybe give us some, because obviously palladium price doing so well, but that seems to be at odds in some people's minds with the uptick we've been talking about this morning about electric vehicles and the batteries there. Palladium and platinum, of course, used in catalytic converters for combustion engines. What are the projections for platinum group elements going forward? What's driving the prices?
Yeah, so what's really happened over the last several years, and many people missed the jump from palladium 5. Remember in 2016, we were struggling at North American Palladium with $500 palladium. It has traded recently over $3,000 an ounce. And it's driven by a total step change in emission standards, which have required up to 30% higher loadings of PGMs. And that's primarily what's driven palladium and rhodium to record prices. Rhodium's been knocking on $30,000 an ounce. And we do have material values of rhodium in this deposit. So that also makes it unique. And we don't see that changing. Matter of fact, my thesis is you need reasonable growth in battery electrics to take the heat off the PGM market because it is in deficit. There hasn't been enough supply. And there are third world countries, India, South America, that still need to step up to the European and the Chinese and the North American standards on emissions. So even with good growth in the alternative energy transportation sector, palladium is not going to go anywhere but stay where it is and stay strong, we think, for several years at a minimum.
Okay. And then when we get to, as touched upon with our conversation with Ken Hoffman from McKinsey, he puts the fuel cell technology a little bit further out, but not everyone agrees on that. Some people think it's 10 years away. And there's obviously a big I know there's a big platinum component for the fuel cells. Does that often supply, because platinum and palladium can be used almost as substitutes in catalytic converters, if I'm not wrong. Is that the case with the fuel cells as well?
That's actually not totally correct because of the way they've engineered catalytic converters. They're extremely high heat, which makes them more efficient, and palladium actually performs much better in that high heat. Platinum tends to break down. But on the flip side, in a fuel cell, platinum is by far the preferred. There's up to an ounce of platinum in a standard bank of fuel cells. And in the heavier transportation industry, where fuel cells is starting to get the buzz, there's probably 2 fuel cells at least driving a mid-sized truck in a long distance hauler where battery electric still has a problem. I think one of the key things on one of the key recent headlines, and there's lots of them on hydrogen and the hydrogen economy, is that the Saudi Arabians announced, and it was in Bloomberg about a month ago now, a $5 billion green hydrogen plant on the Red Sea with wind and solar power. So they're taking their oil money and investing in what they see the future is. We're pretty bullish on the whole fuel cell hydrogen side of the economy as well as battery electric. I think both have a role to play moving forward.
Well, so much of it is just having that investment behind it. So I know you correctly point to that for sure. Yeah, listen, Jim, fantastic. Great to see things developing there. It's certainly one we will watch with close interest. A lot of people, you know, the PGEs, there's not a lot of ways to play it. So I think it's pretty smart to set this up and to do it this way right here in Canada. I mean, you have Impala that acquired North American Palladium. You have Sibanye Stillwater, but there's not a lot of ways to play these PGEs. So I imagine that went into your strategic thinking here, I'm sure. Is that a fair assessment?
Absolutely. You know, I learned everything I could learn about PGEs at North American Palladium, and I saw this opportunity. And I was supposed to at least test retirement for several months, but 3 days after I met Abraham and after the sale of Impala, I jumped on board. I just couldn't see a better opportunity coming forward 6 months down the road. So
fantastic. Wow. Good for you guys, and continued success through 2021. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Jim. Bye-bye.
Cheers.